and take something you inherited and now pretend as if it was gift. You inherited the gold. You inherited the gold for reserve policy. Even Sami Jenfi's statement. Even in Sami Jenfi's statement, he admitted it. I can read it to you right now.
Economy that could not stand on its own.
That is not true. That is not true.
The head of economic management. Inherited exchange rate that was so fragile. Nobody could even plan for a month.
I'm going to read Sami Jenfi's
and you cannot run away from this.
Right now, where he says
they
are operating an expanded gold for reserve policy.
I'll give
the CEO of that place is saying that he's running an expanded gold for reserve policy, and you want to sit here and change history? No. You inherited something that is working for you. You've built upon it. There's nothing wrong with it, but you cannot change history.
Gold for oil was not working for anybody.
We are not, you do not even understand what we are talking about.
You admit it. What was the reason for the gold for oil?
From gold for reserve. I'm not answering your questions.
What was the reason for gold for oil? Why wouldn't you answer my question?
Gold for oil, any Goldbod where essence and a from na air cost on Akua Park debate at the Abanon. IMF at the about say a Goldbod no as I incur some data to $214 million a car Ghana abo am because Goldbod na abo e dey beto one e da man so na na akofa assessment me ho ase between NPP and NDC na Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and akofa ba say ye gold reserve no ye reserve and as yen exchange of oil na yentimi emwa insisting economic kakra ekofa asen bebre by opposition party NDC for be kasaya omo ethical power ne pe no omo so yes o na yen shipping through gold for oil no enfan ko Goldbod na yen to gold no e wo ha locally na yentimi export enfan ko dollars ne de enfan mra eno na omo timi aya omo omo enya skanya fa so de ba omo timi de sustain economy na man say enema ay okay the dollar no swati so somehow okay oil fuel any ade ase enema ebo ekofom okay na when na IMF de ba se dabi Goldbod na se te ho na ye bon si na ye de ani je so when na ye bo economy ne na de no Sami Jenfi ene nkrofon aboka omo aboka $240 million na as to how I can e buy no eno mpo enya asem we na joy news NPP Dr. Akua Amoakoh ena NDC Mr. Alhaji Mohammed Nazir ekoshia ho no mo kase omo di enkomo ya na ekoba yese dabi se asemba na mo de blame no Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na se bia wo se mo abasobodi eba dia na mafa dia osa abasobodi mo na baso Bawumia any idea ene kofa Goldbod nyina de baaye enti se ma bana se mo di so faso a mon kan mo ma papa na mo papa ni di hakran fa atache nkurumdi ne ho na se da bia se ekobone dia ha Bawumia na se ekoyie dia ene Sami Jenfi ene John Dramani Mahama eno ne kofa heated argument ba studio wa joy from studio wa na enya sam keto I said na wasafi ye calm enipa down enya sa na nka enema say Click TV Africa ya bawura mum NDC and NPP we dey omo de beko e beko be san de yaba yen ko hwede ye call so the studios of Joy News heated arguments pa na e call so
of your government understand where the gold for reserve policy started from. They understand where this whole backing the city with commodities, our gold commodities started from. In fact, the Bank of Ghana themselves made a post earlier this year before succumbing to pressure from obviously the government to take down the post as to the value that these gold-backed commodities had brought to our economy and to our country. So if you can sit here and want to single out the CEO of Goldbod, Sami Jenfi, for doing something good, why can we not give the same credit to the person who actually put all of this in place? He was a member of the government, he was a member of the NPP government, but one of the things he did personally, he came out to launch this gold for reserve policy. When there were problems with Goldbod earlier this year, who were the NDC mentioning? I'm going to leave that as a rhetorical question. So if at that point, when it was going wrong, you saw the need to make flyers, to push your propaganda machinery out at him. If now we can see that this is something that he did that was good and is bearing fruit, there's nothing wrong. You've come and you've expanded it and something like that into Goldbod. Nobody is taking that away from you, but you cannot remove the brain behind that. No, history is not even going to allow you to do that.
That's very good. I think the question you asked me is the difference. I mean, I have maintained that the rationale for which this whole using of commodity to, safeguard our currency and then to protect the economy with more reserves under the NPP administration, it did not give us the results that we are getting today under the new arrangement with Goldbod in the middle of this whole activities. So for me, that is the difference. I mean, if you look at the price of fuel today as it was then when this whole initiative was put in place, it has come down drastically. It means that this arrangement is giving us results. If you look at our international reserves, as at the time we were putting this initiative under the NPP administration and what it is today, we've made progress. And for that matter, that arrangement and with Goldbod in the center of all is also giving us results. Look at the strength of our currency, where we have seen stabilization for a very long time, record time to some extent. Business people applauding government, and because it is helping them to plan, to do a long-term. Before now, it was very difficult for any business to consider even doing a long-term plan because of the how volatile the exchange rate regime is. And so if we are seeing differences, and it is giving us results, both in our books, both in our pocket, both in the fiscal management of the economy, then we have no reason to begin to do some comparison and to some extent, excuse me to say, waste our time. What we want is results. That is why I have a great deal of interest in the Jay-Z's of today. What they want is results. Are you giving me results? Let's move on. I mean, and that is how I see this whole thing. Since we are getting the results, where let's tighten it.
Okay. So it matters the losses, but we need to find a way to reduce the losses.
Certainly. Who wants losses?
What must we do?
Well, I mean, I am not a technocrat in that area.
Okay.
But I want to believe that when we understand the challenges, at least by what the government, the IMF have indicated, we must look at not only the gold, but in all in most of the raw material that we have and God has blessed us with, we need to be adding value in order to get the full benefit when we get to the international market. That is one step I think we should do immediately and ensure that we safeguard our economy.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that.
I actually found the speech that was read when the Gold for Reserve policy was launched. Would you like me to read it?
That's
okay.
I'm not just saying that. I'm not talking about the launch. No,
that was just an aside.
If you give me a second, you would understand.
That was just an aside.
Interminable NDC NPP debate rages on gold for oil and gold for reserves. What is baffling is the repetition of the so-called mistake perpetrated by the Bank of Ghana. You know, the World Bank, IMF warned the Bank of Ghana to play a hands-off role in the gold for oil reserves, gold for oil program. Here again, Bank of Ghana is being warned. Are we to understand that the current Bank of Ghana failed to learn from the mistake perpetrated by that distant regime? It's something we need to we need to hear.
In at some point, na me maintain ABA na Mr. Nazir na onye abreast with certain issues and ono admit say on share that enye onimu enya bebre on that field ono admit say like onye a technocrat on that field and say enya bi o na ohun how to narrate it or how to defend it. And for the very first time, the mama who said, as a NPP near me, a corner NDC nipa for the very first time, because it's been a year now, and yet possible saying this limit me a corner NPP needs. So I said, now how are the mind to break things down anything? And my money to keep advantage of home or lashing the big time. Mr. Subscribe, subscribe, mommy. You are not liking or commenting. Yeah, to us
from the Bank of Ghana.
Because the quantum of the losses
it's very critical. Especially that is why I'm applauding Sabi Jefe. I mean, he has come out with his side of the story. It is very important that the Bank of Ghana, the Bank of Ghana quickly also come in, because this is a very sensitive matter. It is almost like what is holding the spine of the economy today. So if there are issues about it, everybody needs to be worried. Business people have to be worried. I mean, are we going to see a crash somewhere along the line? That is speculations. Goes a long way to affect even planning by government. And for that matter, I want to believe that the Bank of Ghana must also quickly come out, show its stand where there is the need. I mean, His Excellency John Mahama Mahama showed that commitment from day one. He said, oh, let's come sit together, let's plan and find how we'll run this economy to the benefit of all. And people have shown support. And so if there's such communication and indeed admission of or confirmation of the IMF claim, I want to believe that it will open the way for others to come also on board and bring a lot of ideas so that we leverage the existing system and ensure that it grows to continue protecting the economy. That's my view.
So as they say, because they were not refining and you need to sell it to someone who will refine and sell on the market, of course.
And not just that. Even the rates, the forex rates that is used by Goldbod is different from what is used by Bank of Ghana. So you buy at a different FX rate from the miner, and then you are giving it to Bank of Ghana at a different FX rate. So in just doing that transaction, you make a loss.
Okay.
And what has happened in the beginning, when Goldbod started its operations, actually they were paying less. They were paying about 8,000 cedis or something. The miners were not happy. Smuggling was going up. And so I think a decision was made to increase it a little so that they can be competitive. These are some of the problems that you face. But there's been such a heavy focus on actually not building reserves. So if you look at today, the reserves NPP left NDC, they have not added up to 5 tons to it. You can fact check. All they've been doing is been selling that gold to show up our forex, which is understandable because Ghanaians wanted that stability. But it is not sustainable, as a lot of economists have said. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm an expert in that field, but from the little I understand, and I saw a video of one of these experts saying that this was going to happen with Goldbod. I'll send you the video. It was on another platform. He said it's about 2 or 3 months ago. And so when I was coming here this morning, I had to send him a message that now you're a prophet, because he said that Goldbod is also going to incur even more losses because of the quantum, just the quantum of commodities they are dealing with as compared to what they inherited. So we can sit down and have a holistic conversation where people are ready to give credit where credit is due, and then we can do this for Mother Ghana. But if you cannot come and take something you inherited and now pretend as if it was gift. You inherited the gold. You inherited the gold for reserve policy. Even Sami Jemfi's statement. Even in Sami Jemfi's statement, he admitted it. I can read it to you right now.
Economy that could not stand on
its own. That is not true. That is not true.
The head of economic management. Inherited exchange rate that was so fragile. Nobody could even plan for a month.
I'm going to read Sami Jemfi's
and you cannot run away from this.
Right now, where he says
business
they are operating an expanded gold for reserve policy.
I'll give
the CEO of that place is saying that he's running an expanded gold for reserve policy, and you want to sit here and change history? No. You inherited something that is working for you. You've built upon it. There's nothing wrong with it, but you cannot change history.
Gold for oil was not working for anybody.
We are not. You do not even understand what we are talking about.
You admit it.
Gold for oil is different from gold for reserve. I'm not answering your questions.
What was the reason for gold for oil?
Is very
Why wouldn't you answer my question? Why wouldn't you answer my question?
Because you obviously don't really understand what gold for oil, gold for reserve.
If I don't understand, wait a minute. If I don't understand, and you are courteous enough to have the opportunity to educate me and more others who don't understand. You sit here and boldly tell me and those who don't understand that you will not answer our question. Either way you are going to
the one who is.
Okay, she said.
Is that why you are going to?
Alhaji, the question.
Alhaji, she says, ask your question again. Just ask your question.
I'm not going to waste my time on that. You are the host.
No, you are
so
turn around
arrogant.
and
Hold on. Arrogant. Continue getting my attention. You are the host. Let me ask you the question. What was the gold for oil all about? Let me ask you. What was it about?
No.
We understand the purpose was to bridge. You know, that time the city was taking a beating from the dollar.
Did they achieve that?
I can read the Bank of Ghana.
I mean, when it did, at least there was some. The oil prices came down.
Instead of the premium being between $160 to $170, it is 50 to 80.
The Goldbod inclusion in this gold for reserve has given us some results, and they are tangible.
No,
we can all feel it.
What we are saying
that is why I'm saying
this
that
gold for reserve
whatever
existed.
You had or you were doing did not give us the desired result.
The good for oil,
we are getting the desired.
Some prices came down. According to
the gold for oil, it's even different from gold for reserve.
Did the price come down to the extent that saw business people congratulate government for that effort?
You know,
we are seeing
fuel went to 20, is it 20, 22? Is it 22 or 23
calling me arrogant
per
this
liter?
morning, actually.
It went to 22 or 23 cedis per liter, I think. And then it came down to about 17 or 16.
I am sending you the BOG's thing themselves, which I've told you. And what I'm saying, gold for oil and even gold for reserve are different. So when we are talking about gold for reserve and you are asking me about gold for oil, I have every right to tell you that you are confusing the two. And you move on to say I'm arrogant on live TV on Christmas morning. Alhaji, come on.
Well, so the point is, yes, we have seen what you have talked about. I mean, the whole initiative was put together to achieve certain results. Just as the current initiative where we use gold for reserve is also targeted at achieving a certain result. If you compare both results, we have done more successfully under the current running program. That is where my point is.
Okay.
And everybody who is looking for results will look for where the results are higher so that it will help it achieve the objective for which it has set for itself. That is my point. And if we are getting these results, that is why I continue to insist that, look, this thing has come to stay. Let us see what, and indeed, I would also use this opportunity, the transparency. I mean, I've seen the Goldbod put almost everything on its website. If you look, even their unaudited account is currently on their website, and you can do a holistic analysis of what they are doing. They should increase in that transparency. They are people who would also use such propaganda machinery to sort of create an impression.
Oh, but it's
the mind. But it's a fact. I mean, we can't run away from that. You are in competition in the world. There are others also looking for what you are looking for. So that if they can churn out information that will sort to slow the progress you are making, they will do it to their advantage. So that is why I keep saying holistically, we need to look at it holistically.
Panifo say obi enipa ya de awsa yi o yina ya men senedin ne mama me e ka no Dr. Amoakoh e ka no I sat with him a bit and he said, but some way na say ade no asemba ho a you guys try to push it to Baumia, but say emfaso ba ho de ya you guys money di po emfa nka some jamfini mahama and I enti ade na sabi ade na mo ye ne se mo face ade no emfaso e bas na yiba mo you guys should try and at least acknowledge himself or he try something or Akua say obeshe bibi ase ise mo wo sha say Akua say Moses efa Israel for free Misrim na one thing ankwan duru Canaan. It doesn't like me say Joshua can like almost baswa e was so many din film. He starts from somewhere and it will be at the every. And I think that the mamene can we should also try and acknowledge Baomi as okay, you began something, you tried something, and this is where we are. At least good for oil, good for reserve, good for the Goldbod. Ni na good. and it is something as a boa country, no, economically. A boa country, no. And I think that they should also try and at least and politics. That's how politics is. So all opposition they will try every means to oppose even brilliant ideas. As kind of politics it's here. So on a hardly really say like obi so that be a cry and yeah. I was on Click TV Africa near the demo on good for oil and IMF and since my baby say Ghana tell me them feeling in crop for our aboka omo Goldbod office or I humanize finish you know year IMF for say aboka $240 million. I think say as time goes on they will try and break things down for us to know the reason why in here. So same way in about Click TV Africa we are still following every story from entertainment, from sports, like anywhere baby be ever be I'm fine coming home. Meda was so coming home for the whole year 2025. Ama ene eye Christmas aye na celebrate Christmas. Me sure I say hwe ho so yi coming home. Hwe ho so yi. O kan busu we hu kwan so hwe ho so yi. Na ho ama asem. Ene na hakra kama afi akwa we no. Hwe ho so yi tu na mo yi. Na wo nan ampem bo awade enko obi bia akoma so ade informano. Click TV Africa. Message was subscribe mami. We are now like no comment. Abekan busu no ye be san share.